Thank you very much, brother. Greetings, distinguished guests of Africa, as well as our guests from all across the globe. I hope you will have enjoyed, or you have all enjoyed your time here thus far. Before going any further, I would like to thank everyone involved in the establishment of this great event held in Dakar, Senegal, which is commonly known as Le Pays de Teranga, a country known for its hospitality. I am here to talk to you about regional cooperation in the fight against cybercrime. The digital trust can only be achieved by ensuring a digital literacy for Africa, or for an Africa that is waiting to be transformed into a digital continent and become the nutrient of our expectations. Well, brothers and sisters, as hope all by itself is not a plan, adding action to that very hope will be part of what wisdom keeps teaching us to begin with. On regional and international cooperation from a security angle. Security and stability, when intertwined, are like guarantee or insurance. Likewise, security and justice do go hand in hand. Therefore, the reason why biometrics, DNA, and other forms of digitalizing records, or the usage of tracking devices in the digital world is very important. Well, that said, especially on matters related to the curbing of illicit flow of small arms or heavy arms, drugs, terrorism, banditry, cross-border crimes, human trafficking, sex slaves, and modern-day slavery, not excluding economic intelligence. The latter cannot be guaranteed in any part of the world if those performing those roles are not tech-savvy or digitally literate. Now, let us begin with the question, or with this question, with reference to the topic at hand. How does Cornell University in the United States of America define digital literacy? Let me quote. Cornell University defines digital literacy as the ability to find, evaluate, utilize, share, and create content using information technologies and the internet. By this definition, digital skills are any skills related to being digitally literate. Being literate certainly means being free from ignorance. Awareness and understanding one's environment is the very beginning of establishing trust with other potential partners from other parts of the world or vice versa. We in Africa also need to be digitally literate for us to be able to put in place statistics or data. Only the latter can help us know what we worth and how we can sell our potentials as partners in development. Once digital trust becomes the conveyor belt of Africa's potentials to the outside world, the concept of that poor and wretched continent where the poor and the paupers are loitering around waiting for handouts will be erased from many minds right round the globe. Remember, communication means development. Further down, the line we can then call for dignity in partnership. In simple language, partnership means going side by side with another party who expects something from you and you expect something from him or her based on mutual respect and benefits. Therefore, from within this conference hall itself, we can engage the world as sons and daughters of Africa who are determined to transform it into a digital continent. Reviewing our fact sheets will definitely convince each one of us that our combined efforts will be a vital necessity in the development of this continent. That said, let us keep in mind that, well, to say much about that wouldn't be necessary, but to sum it up, for Africa to occupy its rightful position in the world market, the geopolitical arena, or fully participate where geostrategies are part of the process, Africa must prioritize education, which therefore leads us back to digital literacy. Here again, Sense asks this question: who is a digital student? I quote words from scholars again. A digital student is refined and enhanced by the findings of a study which includes both the active role of technology in their lives and also the students' need at an independent level to control their environment. Now one can see the need to be digitally literate because without that, the party in question at an independent level will not control their environment. In light of the aforesaid, a vital part of this change will be digital trust. As Africa continues to develop, there will be organizations and enterprises that are created. For these enterprises to reach their desired success, they must ensure and realize the significance of digital trust. Now, some might ask, what is digital trust? Digital trust, where the definition is simplified, means the confidence that consumers have that a company will keep their personal data secure. When expanded, it may as well mean trusting the source or given data or information drawn from society's shared point. In this day and age, technology is essential for the advancement of most businesses. People must have the utmost confidence and believe that their personal information will be protected. And these people include governments, of course. They must be protected when dealing with a business or another partner. Which is why I believe that once the idea of digital trust becomes more of a focal point for ventures across Africa, the progress of the continent will be much more prompt. At this juncture, let us revisit the old adage: necessity is the mother of invention, which will lead one sixth sense back to what scholars of today's world call digital literacy. There was a time when being unlettered was based on not being able to read and write. However, this moving world is about to defy us within a given context. On that note, let us see what digital literacy means in today's world. I quote, "Digital literacy is the set of competences required for full participation in a knowledge society. It includes knowledge, skills, and behaviors involving the effective use of digital devices, such as smartphones, tablets, laptops, and desktops, PCs, for purposes of communication, expression, collaboration, and advocacy." That ends the quote. Certainly, The latter is a reliable platform or a springboard for development or for developing one's ideas on our theme today. It is no secret that Africa is a continent full of resources. That in fact may be an understatement to say so. If the concept of digital trust is ensured, this in itself will be a major step towards building Africa as a potential partner for many places. The management of resources will help Africa prosper not only as a continent but as a franchise of the people. With the correct management of resources, Africa's distribution of resources across the continent will make it an active member in the world market. We can imagine how successful Africa as a whole can be when the concept of digital trust becomes a centerpiece for development. Once the idea of digital trust turns into a reality, our imagination of Africa's success will surely follow suit. That said, one can equally argue it out by saying that the connect between the developed world and the developing countries like our host Senegal is more digital than the traditional lines of diplomacy. Diplomacy in itself derives every bit of its meaning from communication. Indeed, communication in today's world is more digital than anything else. On the latter, one can as well, or it can as well be conceptualized as a web of activities within a given structure. The structure where all players expect a win-win instead of playing a zero-sum game. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, I traveled all the way from the United States of America happily and excited to rejoin my continent, Africa. Distinguished guests and dignitaries present here with me, please accept the assurances of my highest considerations. Thank you.